In italiano e abbiamo suddiviso i temi di ricerca affrontati in 3 macro categorie: cultural heritage, risk management e technology for reconstruction, climate change, sustainability e landscape planning. E quello di oggi, che questo è il primo contributo, è hybrid communication, digital humanities and transdisciplinary design. Quindi come il ruolo del design all'interno della comunicazione e dell'informazione, per l'uso di dispositivi innovativi dei quali emerge una dimensione ibrida, per la valorizzazione del patrimonio culturale e scientifico e la progettazione di mondi virtuali. E adesso in chat vi attaccheremo i link per il questionario e per registrare la vostra presenza. Vi ricordo, ragazzi, di registrare la vostra presenza sia all'inizio che alla fine dei 2 seminari e di chiudere i microfoni, per favore. Greetings to everyone. Welcome to PhD Research Talks. Welcome Yanan Fu. Welcome to all our Chinese guests. This is an initiative conducted and organized by the PhD student of the University of Camerino, with the aim to disseminate our research and to create connection with other researcher and expert by the specific team involved in our research. Today is the seminar number 11. The PhD student is Yanan Fu. So she will talk about how design can tutelate and preserve handicraft in China. And we have a guest speaker that is a researcher from University of Genova. And she is an expert about the relation of artisan and design. And she is a friend of our university. We had the chance to collaborate with her many times, so we are really happy to see you again. Unfortunately, with this, by this medium and not in person, but also give us a chance to have a large audience and international audience that personal conference in Ascoli maybe could not be possible. So, welcome Yana, and start with your intervention, and after that we will have conference, an intervention by Luisa Chimenz.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Also, I want to introduce Carlo Vannicola. He's my PhD. Sorry, Carlo. I want to introduce Carlo Vannicola, that is my PhD tutor and also Yanan Fu tutor. And if you want to introduce Yana and the principal theme of this conference, Carlo, you are welcome.
Okay, only a few sentences. In any case, thank you everyone to participate in this talk, and that is a really interesting system that a group of our students organized to develop and to improve the relationship with others PhD school in Italy and in the world. So I am very happy today can present this talk about 2 of our students. It's 2 different students in 2 different time that arrived from Zhuzhuli University in China, and also to say thank you very much to Luisa Chimenz to participate in this conference, in this organization. Also because the theme that the 2 students will explain today is a really interesting theme, and is a really problem of our society. So Yanan Fu is working about craft traditional activity and try to understand the relationship between craft activity, territory, and cultural heritage. What we can see about their project, their research, is that the problems in Europe, in Italy, and China is not so far. Really, we can find many common points that we can discuss. So to have the possibility to understand, if it's possible, at the end of these 3 years work, to find a common point in which we can propose a solution. I think it's very, very interesting. I visited China many times, and I see and I know that the traditional in China now is coming really important. After probably 20 years about thinking only about new technology, the relationship with new technology and tradition become very important. And so I think the Yanan research will be really interesting. Try to find the solution that maybe we can use also in Italy. So thank you for Yana. And about Luisa. Luisa is a historic professor. So the first theme that she can say is about the relationship with story and tradition and innovation. And also she is studying in many time different culture in the world, like Israel, like Brazil, in this moment, like Japanese culture that is very near Chinese culture. So I think we can learn many things about his research, and maybe I hope that this relationship is not only for today but also for the next future in our PhD school. Thank you. Thank you, Yana. Thank you, Luisa.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, wonderful.
Okay. I'm so sorry about this situation. I didn't
It's okay.
know about this. Okay. Thank you for your waiting. Let me begin. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for your capacity. And today I want to talk about how traditional handicrafts are sustainable in modern society. And under the concept of establishing a regional, circular, and ecological sphere, there are many new ways for the sustainable development of traditional handicrafts. So first of all, what is the regional, circular, and ecological sphere? This idea is an innovative design concept produced for regional revitalizations. The goal of this idea is to create more social value for the innovative use of regional resources. And the traditional handicrafts as an excellent regional resources, it has regional culture. It is the creation of local people using special environment resources and materials. And at the same time, the traditional handicrafts are also a valuable, tangible, historical heritage. My presentation will be discussed from 5 parts. The first part is a brief introduction to my research topic. There are many ways to classify traditional handicrafts according to materials, process, skill, cultural beliefs, and social attributes. The content of the traditional handicrafts is also quite different. But in this research, my focus is folk crafts classified according to social attribute, because folk handicrafts have profound historical heritage for general public, and they are also socially universal for discussion as original resources. There are 4 main ways of inheritance of traditional handicrafts: family, master to apprentice, workshop, and social ways. The family inheritance is the most stable and the longest way. The social inheritance is the main development direction in the future. From the current development of traditional handicrafts, there are two main types. The first is combination of culture and tourism, such as Sim Cultural Festival, Sim Cultural Park, Folk Eco Village, Cultural and Ecological Museum. And the second is established cultural industry. Because of the traditional handicrafts has the characteristic of industrial production, such as less investment, quick effect, and wide employment. And it also is a typical representative cultural resources. Traditional handicrafts is necessary to become an important part of the development of cultural industry. And the second part is the case study of some traditional handicraft developed in China. There are three main forms: handicraft village, handicraft industry zones, and the self-help exploration of craftsmanship. The first is exploration of handicraft village. Shandong province is located in the lower reaches of Yellow River in the north-central part of China. And the Shandong province is the birthplace of Qilu culture. Since the reform and opening up, Shandong has made use of the regional advantages of the intersection of Yellow River economy belt and Bohai Ring economic zone to become one of the fastest and most developed province. And the Shandong province has abundant resources of traditional handicrafts, such as wooden craft, New Year painting craft, and Lu embroidery craft. The cat craftsmanship of Yangjiabu village has a long history, appeared in the earlier Ming dynasty, has a history of 500 years. The cat craftsmanship in Yangjiabu village is different from other cat style. It's developed by the integration of local traditional wood plank painting skill. And when the inheritance and the development of cat craftsmanship, today there are more than 135 cat workshops in Yangjiabu village. The development of the cat craft industry in Yangjiabu village also driven farmers in nearby village, forming a cultural brand effect and economic industry in region. Wicker weaving has a history nearly 300 years in Linyi city. In the 1980s, it began to gradually become economic and industrial resources. Linyi city has a long history of wicker weaving due to the development of water system in these places. It is suitable for the growth of qiliu, a kind of plant, as weaving raw material. And Linshu village is the representative village of wicker weaving in Linyi city. The development of wicker weaving in this village mainly relies on three ways. The first is e-commerce plus farmer, using the advantages of internet and online shopping. Second is terms of government grants. For poverty, bank microfinance help the poor and the disabled to start their own business. And the third one is establish a processing set agent system. There are currently more than 100 processing sets in this village. And after the farmers have completed their tasks, the second-class agents will come to collect production and hand them over to the up-level agent, passed in the layer by layer, and finally gathered to the company for reprocessing and sales. Through these three development methods of wicker weaving not only increased the employment rate, but also brought huge economic profits to the local farmers. The second is exploration of handicraft industry zones in Jiangsu and Zhejiang province. Jiangsu and Zhejiang province are two of the most developed regions in China's current economic development. And there are also the region with the highest urbanization in China, which currently exists 65%. And the establishment of handicraft industry zone is more led by the government or companies, so that it always have a complete service system. Zhenhu embroidery industry cluster in Wuxi City use the regional embroidery handicraft resources to establish an embroidery craft gathering center. And this approach makes a lot of things. Sichuan Cultural and Creative Industry Park is located in the Sichuan City, Zhejiang Province. And this park takes traditional handicraft as a start point, build a special tourist area that integrates handicraft DIY, exhibitions, and experience service. In the course of nearly 10 years of development, Sichuan has introduced more than 12 handicraft brands through active government policies and financial support, and also attracting a large number of artists and university grads stand up handicraft or creative design studios here. The third is self-help exploration of craftsmanship in Shanxi Province. Shanxi Province is located in the west of China. Since the modern society, its economic development has been heralded by the poor traffic and the lack of resources advantages. Many rural areas are actively looking for paths of production self-help. In this process, through handicraft production to maintain the needs of family life, production come into being. To use homespun craft to produce and live in Xujiazhuang village is one of the typical representatives. Xujiazhuang is located in the ancient Luyang Lake. Luyang Lake is a collection area of surface water and groundwater, so when it dries up and it becomes a beach with a lot of salt and alkalis. Are a lot of this in the Lake Barton, so the salt alkalis substances affects the local agriculture and brings great troubles to the drinking water of humans and animals, and also brings lasting poverty to the local farmers. Under the harsh living environment as I can, hand weaving becomes the main form of work for farmers in the village to maintain their lives. Men spinning and women weaving were also a common set in the local village. Now local farmers in Xujiazhuang village have set up many professional homespun cooperatives to organize and produce specialized local weaving productions, and form the regional cultural influence and increased the cultural self-confidence to the farmers. There are many similar cases in the Shanxi province, such as clay sculpture craftsmanship in Liuying village and Latin craft craftsmanships in Sanzhao village. From the current cases of traditional handicraft production, there are mainly 4 forms of production organizations: family workshop, professional cooperative, company, and craft studio. The form of production organization is an economic concept. The production organization form to ensure the success of production. In different historic stage, the differences in production models caused by productivity and production relations lead to different production organizations. Family workshops are the most important organization form of traditional handicraft production. In the family workshop, the family is the core structure. And the collaboration and the interaction between family members and the inheritance of skills have laid the foundation for handicraft production in the form of the family workshop. Yaozhou porcelain in Chenlu Town has mainly porcelain production in family workshops. Take the Li family porcelain workshop as an example. The Li family porcelain workshop employs artists and farmers to create together, and completes all links from design, production to sales in the workshop. In a sense, its internal operations have similar with company characteristics. Professional cooperatives unite different production entities for production and operations. Cooperatives take farmers or handicraft producers as a unit and aim to increase economic benefits of participating members in the cooperative. It is a contractual production relationship based on trust and cooperation. Professional cooperative of rural women homespun in Xujiazhuang village was established in 2000. And Xujiazhuang village now lives more than 300 farmers, and 287 farmers are engaged in large-scale homespun production. More and more rural women can earn money by working at home. The specific form of production is that while the cooperative provides raw materials to farmers, it will also provide them with professional skill training. After they have processed the products for the first time, they will bring them back to the cooperative for secondary processing and then sell the final productions. Company is both the organizer and the manager of production. In the specific production process, the company has a clear division of specialized departments. In many parts of China, many handicraft developed companies were set up based on family workshop or cooperatives. Linyi Aola, a comprehensive agriculture development company in Linyi City, is a company established through the development of wicker weaving professional cooperative. Under the company management system, wickers weaving skill and product design has carried out many innovations, such as from agricultural and daily weaving forms changed to modern cultural consumer goods. Craft studio is different from family workshop. In the studio, handicraft production is no longer the only purpose of life and practically, but a combination of artistic thinking and technical practice. Taozhiyao Wood Carving Studio is located in Xianyang City, Shanxi Province. It combined traditional Chinese wood carving skills with modern technology to produce wood crafts. And it is worth mentioning that the studio and the art academy cooperate. When the studio gets more fresh, creative designs, it also provides a high-quality social experience for the student of the art academy. Through the compared with the four forms of handicraft organizations, because of the differences in the organization members and the production ways, they will have different development and social characteristics. Because traditional handicrafts are organized in different ways, their production, supply, and marketing system are also different. I will discuss in three ways: relying on the workshop, relying on professional cooperatives, relying on the company. To realize the sustainable production of traditional handicrafts, first of all, it is necessary to have a relatively complete production, supply, and marketing system. Workshop with the family and or master apprentice as a unit. Production and sales are most complete in specific environment. Characteristic with small production scale, low capital investment, low risk value, convenient management, and easy production. Relying on family workshops, there are 3 types of production, supply, and marketing system for traditional handicraft. First is workshop plus consumer. This form of handicrafts directly facing consumers in the most directly system. In this system, the family workshop not only has the responsibility of production, but also shoulders the task of sales. Most household production workshops in areas with poor traffic still adopt this form. Second, front shop and back workshop. This model means that in the agricultural space, the front space of the building is used as a sales area, and the rear space is used as the production place. Or the lower floor of the building is used as a sales space, and the upper floor is used as a production area. And this kind of production and the sales system has greater reference value under the current popularity of experiential consumptions. Third, individual plus workshop plus distributors. Individuals as the key link of handicraft production. After completing their works independently, they are handed over to the workshop or for display and sale. The addition of distributors has further broadened the way for the sale of handicrafts. In this system, there are no collaboration relationship between workshops and the individuals, but rather a transitive role. The workshop provides products for distributors and pays the price of craftsmanship for individuals. Professional cooperative plays a positive role in promoting economic development and increasing the income of farmers. Handicraft cooperative provide production for farmers' competitiveness and organization in the market. In the specific production, supply, and marketing system, it can be divided into the following types according to the different situations. First, farmers plus professional cooperative plus distributors. In this form, different from the simple transfer function of the workshop, the cooperative has cooperative relationship of production. On the one hand, the cooperative provide farmers with technical training, marketing information, orders, and other service. On the other hand, the cooperatives should expand the sales routes and obtain handicraft orders through cooperation with distributors. In a certain sense, cooperatives are more like a joint stock company in which farmers participate in shares. Second, farmers plus professional cooperative plus market. With the improvement of the professional cooperative system, the cooperative will not only serve for connecting farmers and distributors, but also a form of cooperative operations. The cooperative directly connects with the market and the customers' production orders according to the market demand. After that, the cooperative distributes the orders to farmers. for production, and finally directly response for sales. This form is not only to strengthen and extend the organization of cooperatives, but also due to reduce interest into link distributors can give back more benefits to farmers. Third, farmers and plus professional cooperative plus academic institutions plus market. Today, traditional handicraft must not only adapt to the needs of the market, but also need to be more integrated into modern life. Therefore, the involvement of academic structure is very necessary. Academic institutions have their own product development advantages. Moreover, its long-term attention to the handicraft market can not only provide the cooperatives with guidance on handicraft technology and market consolidations, but also play an active role in new product development and innovations. This kind of operation has a positive effect on the inheritance and innovation of traditional handicrafts. Company production is an advanced form of traditional handicraft production organizations. Company production is a form of vertical integration. That is, having all business in the entire industrial chain for production, transportation, to sales of the product. In addition to vertical integration companies, there are three other forms. First, farmers plus intermediary plus company. It is currently a relatively common form of production organizations. The company is responsible for taking orders and making handicraft samples according to the customer needs. The intermediary organizes the farmers to produce according to the company's order and handicraft samples, and finally delivers the finished products to the company. In this system, there are two forms of intermediary: middleman and processing company. Middleman is not responsible for the specific production. Because it has a relatively large number of handicraft farmers, middleman can serve as a link between farmers and companies. The processing company is addition to being a link between farmers and the company. It is also responsible for product processing. The processing company is like the company's production department. It will finally deliver the processed products to the company. Second, farmers plus intermediary plus company plus wholesalers and distributors. In this system, the wholesaler is an important sales link. Wholesalers distribute handicraft to distributors in different places. This form increases the farm market share of the handicraft. By increasing sale weights, it is important for the production of traditional handicrafts to be sustainable. And the third, studio plus company. In the process of company studio with the company, the studio takes on more creative organization tasks and it is responsible for the design of handicrafts. The company is mainly responsible for the production and sales of handicraft products. This form has a certain help effect on the lack of innovation of current handmade products and the lack of professional and technical talents. Through the above discussion, there are some issues that need to be paid attention in advance. We should, according to the types of handicrafts, to reasonable planning how to organize and operate. First is the machine production and handmade production. Handmade production has a natural time-consuming characteristic, but For those handicraft production that have considerable market demand, such as embroidery and ceramic handicrafts, and it is possible to use machines in some production processes, such as computer production and electrification. The introduction of these techniques can save time and labor costs to improve production efficiency. Second, production skills. Traditional handicrafts are labor-intensive forms of production, which play a positive role in solving the current rural employment problems. Generally speaking, in order to obtain more economy profits and achieve more capital accumulation, it is necessary to expand the scale of the production. But for the production characteristic of traditional handicrafts, many of them are not suitable for the large-scale production, such as shadow papers, paper cutting, clay sculpture. There are also some suitable for mass production, such as ceramics, because ceramics have a wide range of application and has large-scale market shares. Third, decentralized operation and intensive production, because relying on the traditional family workshop style, traditional handicrafts have decentralized natural production attributes. Due to the current development of casual industry, many regions have begun to try establish intensive production areas, such as handicraft industry parks and handicraft characteristic blocks. But intensive production is not suitable for those handicrafts that are closely integrated with traditional farming, life, and for customers. Because intensive production will make this kind of handmix break away from the original ecological living environment and cause trouble to the craftsmen, restricting their creative freedom and enthusiasm. In this discussion on the sustainable development of traditional handicrafts, the main focus is on the production organization structure. In every link of the entire production, supply, and marketing system, there are still many areas to be in-depth research and innovation. To achieve the sustainable development of traditional handicrafts needs more society parties to join efforts. The production of traditional culture and the promotion of regional revitalization also require the joint efforts of everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yanan.
Thank
Your
you.
presentation was really interesting. Okay. Carlo, you want to say something?
Thank you, Yanan. I think your presentation really interesting. Probably is necessary to improve information about some of these traditional activity. For example, economy situation and how many workshop families working in the same area. And I think you have also to plus another kind of traditional system in China, kina production. You know, kina production. Yeah, kina, to write, to paint.
No. Okay.
Yeah. I think because it's really interesting, and in the same area there is some good, really traditional way. I don't need to speak more, and I give the opportunity to see and to say something to Luisa. Please, Luisa.
Thank you. Here the microphone is open, and sorry. I'm trying. I will try to share. Let's see what happens. My entire screen, I would say. Yes. I'm sharing all the screen in order to avoid any possible problem. Oh, sorry. You had the
We can see you.
Yeah, you can see.
Unfortunately, you can, because you had a spoiler. Actually, I cannot see you, and this is a bit. Okay, never mind. I'm so sorry I cannot see you, but hope you can see me. And in the meantime, I will have a look at the clock, as synthesis is not one of my talent, nor my gift, I would say, unfortunately. So I will give, okay, I will not say that I will give a speech, as actually this will not be a lecture or an official lecture, but in my style and in my habit, it will be more a kind of teaser. And I'm so sorry, Yanan, I would like to look at you while speaking, because your presentation and your work has been sincerely, I found it really interesting. And when I was asked, and thanks Carlo for inviting me in this occasion, of course it would be nicer to come to Camerino and to Ascoli, but we will do soon in the future, I hope. Well, when I've been asked to, from time to time, as I see only my screen, can you give me kind of sign that you are here, everything is going right, and I don't know. Are you there?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Because, you know, I'm used to use Zoom or Teams,
Okay.
and they highlight something around the screen to say you are working, and so in this case, it's kind of.
I think that, Luisa, you can change the arrangement, the layout of your Google Meet. If you click on the three vertical dots on the bottom
Here?
right. Yes,
Okay.
maybe exactly.
Like this?
Maybe.
No, like.
In this one, you can see. Yes.
Okay. Then I close. Yes, but if I have a look to my screen, I won't look at you. You see?
I think it's a problem of Google Meet design, maybe.
Yeah. I guess.
Penso che quando condividi a schermo intero automaticamente
Non ti dà quella possibilità di vedere gli altri.
no, vede la barra laterale solo se condividi a schermo intero la presentazione, credo.
Perfetto, grazie di averlo detto.
Ok.
No, sì, era su vista.
Era su vista, me lo sono
Command L.
Command L, sì.
Okay, but still I cannot see you. You see me, nothing has changed actually.
Don't worry, Luisa, we can see you, so there is no
Thank you.
problem.
From time to time, give me a sign that you are here.
Okay.
Actually, nothing has changed. I'm sharing my screen, but this is the fact, because I've had the chance to have a look to Yanan's presentation, and when Carlo, but so far I cannot see anymore the clock, so I will have a clock by my side. When Carlo asked me to give this I would say this lecture, this official lecture, we were thinking what I could deliver to your, I would say, experience or to your knowledge today. But I have to say, I changed my mind later on after our brief conversation. And mostly it was because I will mention you something that is not in the presentation. I'm always used to say that I want to be, now you will laugh a lot, like Ettore Sozzas, not making design actually, but making theoretical design. Like in physics, there are applied physics and theoretical physics. Well, I want to care to treat theoretical design. So actually, what I will deliver and convey to you today will be kind of obvious. And for sure, I'm not to say that it will be unexpected. But to be honest, I was thinking sometime saying something obvious and not unexpected is needed. Like hearing from someone, I love you, as something that reminds to us the importance for that person. So even if something is or might be obvious or not unexpected, from time to time, it can be useful to recall it to our mind. This is why, looking at Yanan's presentation, which is a PhD work, and of course she has to convey and gather case studies, researches, and so on. Well, I got the benefit of being after this path, and so I thought maybe I can go deeper in terms of theoretical discourse. And this is why I was asking myself yesterday and in the days before, something that actually I ask since very long time. Well, you will find this weird thing like the sixth path, because I love to use numbers to give a kind of taxonomy when I express theories, because, as I said, I don't have the benefit of synthesis. So numbers give me a limit, a border. You cannot go farther. So I know that I cannot reach 100 words. I decided, okay, it will be just, sorry, I tried to do, okay, it will be just 6 words, and in order to try to remain in the right time assigned to this speech. Well, you will have a look to authenticity, and we will go through it just in a second. But before, I want to share with you, I always have friends when I'm preparing a speech or just sharing a thought, even with friends, real friends, I mean. I'm the person who I'm used to say always has a bibliography, because it is a sincere need for me. And yesterday, the first thought, yesterday, in the days before, you know, no, maybe you don't. I'm working on this topic of the relation of craft or handicraft or craftsmanship, as I prefer to call it, and design, I would say since 2009. And so it's pretty long time. And this theme, this subject, this topic has so many facets that from time to time I am tempted to leave it because it is too much. Actually, my temptation, it's not only mine. In fact, John Walker, who authored this wonderful book, Design History and the History of Design, writes, although craft and design are two different concepts, they are closely linked. Craft persons are generally engaged in design and in mass production, but designers' good frequently relies upon craft processes. So we hear something like that in Yanan's presentation. And I have to say this was an inspiring point for me for this speech. The word craft means skill, particularly the manual kind, hence handicraft. It also means trade or occupation. Familiar, traditional crafts include pottery, furniture making, leatherwork, metalwork, stone masonry, jewelry, glass blowing, stained glass, embroidery, knitting, weaving, tapestry, book binding, bagastery, and toy making. Well, in your presentation, Yanan, you already mentioned many of these kinds. And so I was thinking, okay, let's talk about, she will talk about Chinese traditional handicraft. Me, I am Italian, so maybe I can talk about Italian handicraft, but I am a design history researcher, so I felt it like a limit, a border. And I said, no, I want to go deeper maybe. So if I want to trace, to give a line, to understand why we do need the relation between craft and design and how this relation is embodied in objects, well, in this case, I may picture, but this is definitely my own opinion, and I really hope you would share it and you might appreciate me sharing it. In this case, I see 6 paths. And when I use the word path, I am exactly meaning, I don't know, I haven't studied Chinese yet, but for a little while of my life, I studied Japanese language. And in the Japanese language, they use the word do. So we are used to hear shodo or chado, which means the way, the route. So when I use the word path, I am exactly meaning that. It's not a gate you pass over. It's a route you have to follow. Well, let's imagine with me that we are starting from craftsmanship or handicraft, prefer the name you assign to it, and we want to reach design in contemporary world. Well, we will begin from authenticity, because authenticity, as it is shared from Dejan Sujic, name is almost unpronounceable, worse than mine, who has been I would say the director of the Design Museum in London. Actually, it has changed now in very recent times, but he has been also for a long time an historian and I would say expert about Italian design, and in particular Alessandro Vendini and Ettore Sozzas and Memphis, Alchemia, and so on. Well, Dejan Sujic has written some years ago a wonderful book like B is for Bauhaus, and in AZ, designerly modern word. As for the A, it introduces the concept of authenticity. Well, concept of authenticity has to be pivotal in design. And one of the reasons for which we are always tempted by crafts, goods, is because they look authentic. So authenticity is just a word, and actually does not promise anything about performance of the work that the object will do. I've heard Yanan saying, and I was writing down while you were speaking, for instance, about the change of behaviors and the change of production, and we will go through it in a minute. But authenticity, and this is something that I always mention, always quote, is the combination of sincerity and authority. These are unbelievably important values because, especially in our modern world, contemporary world, made of appearance, made of stories, made of, I would say, a lot of, let's say smoke or lies, as you prefer. Authenticity, when we touch the wood in a craft product, it's kind of, we go back to our authentic nature. And exactly, this is why, for instance, the Scandinavian design, Scandinavian is a definition that I hate because it's pretty wrong, but assume that it might be right. Scandinavian design is so well known and bespoke because in their appearance, they're rough. Sometimes craft in Scandinavian design, or even furniture design in Scandinavian design, might appear almost rough or not so polished, I would say. Definitely far from the view of Italian design we have. And this kind of roughness, this kind of trueness becomes an expression of authenticity. I will not present today, I'm more to focus on concepts, but as for letting you picturing better what I'm saying, I will give you like imagery spot with these case studies that are not case studies, but just examples. Well, about the second word or the second path, I've been, I have to say, not so sure till the very last moments of this conversation, the preparation of this conversation, because I was thinking at the beginning to uniqueness, and then I thought to simplicity, but in the end, I reached style. Because, and this is something that I have to say I appreciate very much, style refers to three aspects of art. Oh, I hate when we reach this word, art, because art, design, and craft are always misunderstood when they are together. But nevertheless, I cannot deny that this definition is somehow useful in my speech. 4 elements or motifs, 4 relationship and qualities. And this is why I chose this path. So style embodies somehow the quantity, the quality, the relation, and it led us to the point that is immediately after, But in this point, I want to share something considerably new. I'm not, when you find the question mark, it's because I'm not, I couldn't find definite notion about here. So Giulio Iacchetti, who is a bespoke designer, for sure, we are not to say he is a craftsman or I don't know, something else. He is for sure a designer. For this, I would call it platform, Artmest, designed 3 pieces made with bricole. I don't know if you know that bricole are the pieces of wood who are planted, I would say, in the Venice Laguna in order to just keep boats in their place very close to the houses. And of course, bricole, because they are immersed completely in the sea, go disrupted very fast. But this kind of wood is considered embodying heritage. Not only cultural heritage, of course, because they are the bricole of Venice, are you kidding? But also material heritage, because they have been immersed in the Sea of Venice. And it is like these pieces of wood have had the possibility to look around to what was going around in the city of Venice. So it is now many years already that the small company, wider company, are interested in reusing. So here you go, Yanan, with what you were saying about the circular economy. We're reusing the Venice wood of bricole. And Giulio Iacchetti actually is offering us something unbelievably useful, a shoehorn. Who does not have a shoehorn in his house? It's impossible not to have it. But in this case, as the Italian way, I have to highlight again, and Carlo, probably you will not agree with me, it becomes kind of poetic sculpture. Of course, it has a function and it works, we hope. And I have to say, I was astonished by the price, because I'm used to expect from Italian design to be very expensive. Actually, this is not that expensive. Of course, it is not a shoehorn you can buy in IKEA, but nevertheless, it's handmade, handicrafted from Venetian bricole. So, and here we reach from style. I don't know if you have memory of what we were looking in style that was mentioning uniqueness, simplicity, relation, qualities. Well, and here we reach affection. So Yanan, in our presentation, was mentioning that one of the points that is pivotal for craftsmanship is the tourism craftsmanship. And of course, because we are forced, we cannot deny that it is something not under our control. We embody objects of meaning and significance. And this is why we embody affection in objects. So Donald Norman, who actually is closer, I would say, to the speech we will have later on with Alessandro Bertirotti and cognitive design. After writing one of his masterpieces, saying that design has only to care about function, reached the point in emotional design that emotions have a pivotal point in the relation that we build with objects. And think, Of course, you have a relation with your mobile phone or with the device that is helping us in this situation, pandemic situation. But would you say that you have a closer relation with your phone, or, for instance, with the necklace? In the case of the girls, of course. For boys, I don't see the necklace. Or, I mean, for instance, the rings that you bought in your journeys. When I visited for the first time China, when I visited for the first time Beijing, I've been kindly, and this was a wonderful time, brought to a huton, which has been transformed in the very heart of Beijing, and what Yanan was saying, like a craft center. And in a craft jewelry, I could see still young people working on jewels in front of their customers. So I have a ring that was made for me. I chose it, of course, and I bought it. But it was made for me, in front of me, from the piece of metal. I've seen the transformation. Would you have this kind of affection or this kind of relation with your mobile phone? I don't think it is possible. So in this sense, crafted products have the natural appearance, the natural allure to build stronger relation with their owner. And as affection determines for us what is safe and what is dangerous, we will always mention, always will tend to say that what is handmade and what I've seen producing is less dangerous than something that I've not seen in its production phases. So in this sense, this name is even harder than before. Alfred Kulper has been for a long time, she's a woman, she has worked for a long time in fashion industry, and she is Amsterdam based. I'm not to say designer, because she makes this kind of rags that are not rags, are emotions, are feelings, are material feelings, or things to which has been given materiality. But as she was hyper stressed in this moment, when she found herself stuck at home, like every one of us in the pandemic time, she began to woven and work because she felt the need to do something with hands. And she says, I'm not really designing. I'm more listening to the stories, the narratives of the family who will receive my rug, my carpet. And I am like embodying what I'm hearing and the product. So you will find, for instance, these are kind of islands or landscapes, but you will find, for instance, rugs with female shapes and long hairs. And emotions are very, affection, emotions are very close, of course, because of their own existence, to feelings. So again, we go to feelings, memories. Well, can you believe something more powerful than embodying the object of a feeling? It becomes like invincible. Lore, well, I have to say I agreed on almost everything of Yanan's presentation, but I don't know if I am in time. No, I will be late, but I will rush. I will try my best. I've been almost agreeing with everything with Yanan's presentation, but I disagree on the use of the word folk. Well, the use of the word folk, as for my knowledge of British English, whose pronunciation is not that good because I am Sicilian, so my pronunciation is always wild, somehow introduces bad feelings and concepts of protest. I do prefer when we are talking about craftsmanship or handicraft, the word lore, because, and this is why I am using in this case not a quotation, not mentioning an expert or someone else, but just mentioning the Oxford Dictionary. The word lore is the stories and traditions of a particular group of people. When we buy a piece of handicraft, we are bringing to in our life, in our home or apartment or studio or whatever, this piece of knowledge of this particular group of people. So don't think that these one, two, three are just points you can leave behind. This is a kind of chain, paths you have to pass. And okay, this is not definitely something that can go under the realm of handicraft, but I particularly use this example of Koi Japanese sake because they are relying on the common shared knowledge, actually lore. So you see the power of lore is much more empowered as more it is shared. And today we live in a shared world. It is so easy. I found myself tagged on Instagram and it was amazing. So if we, a particular group of people, if a designer is able to use as his, of course, own knowledge to empower a lore, actually, this will empower a particular group of people going in what Yanan was saying, a circular economy and better economical conditions. But lore has to reach knowledge, so has to keep, not leave behind, but just keep what has been the memory and the tradition, and then look farther. Go forward for what can be the further development of its own nature. And in this case, here I will quote you, Yanan, because you were talking about change of behaviors, but actually I will highlight change of behaviors. Yes, of course, because every one of us wants a better future, but not change of meaning. Because this is why we are always choosing and searching for crafted good. So we need somehow to embody the craft values in design products with the addition of design values. And you were mentioning as well the change of production, some use of machines. Well, I'm design history professor, so I will not bore you about the beginning of this dispute or use or do not use the machine. But using the machine does not change the value or the meaning of, for instance, a material, a shape, I would say a design. And you were saying, of course, not all the production are suitable for the intervention of machine. for sure. You were mentioning paper cut, and I was looking at the wonderful piece of paper cut that is in my living room. But somehow, instead, there are productions in which machines do not mean that we lose meaning, function, and neither we find ourselves far from beauty. Well, at the beginning
Luisa, excuse me for interruption. We'll see you if you can conclude your intervention in 5 minutes, please. Sorry.
I'm here.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Here you go. Never mind. And so we left from authenticity. Well, what I want to share is that we are forced, we must reach beauty. Well, beauty is a misused word, and I heard it in these last times, I don't know how many times, because of the foundation of the new European Bauhaus, in which beautiful is one of the three pillars. But instead, I will quote you not a design expert, but William Morris' friend, Oscar Wilde, who was a writer, saying that beauty is something definitely, inevitably needed in our life. Well, when craft means authenticity, design uses to mean beauty. So when they reach each other, when they are interwoven, they can produce all that are experiences, feelings, style. And in this case, I will leave you asking you to have a look to this experience of the Sebastian Conran, who studied for a long time, almost 7 years, Gifu production, and made a collection of objects going in all the realms that we mentioned at the beginning. So from knitting to, in this case, paper lamps. And that empowered the local production, but actually a desirable product, embodying everything: craftsmanship, design, and all the values that we mentioned in this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Luisa. Thank you so much.
Now let's see.
There are any questions?
Okay.
From the public? Or Carlo, do you want to say something?
Yes. Thank you, Luisa, for your theoretical introduction. I think we have a lot of things to exchange about our idea about tradition, about traditional, about craft. But I am agree with you.
Oh,
think about start from words, start from sentences. In any case, a good way to think about what we can do and to think about what we can use from the past, because you know, progression is near regression, and the past is a part of the future.